Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into this one, make sure you hit that button. But today's video is going to be about another link that has been made. Apparently, Leeds are interested in signing young Bobby Clark on loan from Liverpool. Now, Bobby Clark is only 19 years old, plays as a number 8, but can play a little bit deeper and a little bit further forward as well. Obviously, a lot of young players haven't fully worked out their position by the time they're only 19, which is what Bobby Clark is. Came from Newcastle, of course, before going to Liverpool, so he wasn't through the ranks at Liverpool. He played a few times for the first team. Mostly his games have been for the under-21s, and he's impressed there. But we know as Leeds fans that a lot of players can really impress in the under-21s, but when they make it into the first team, don't necessarily have the impact that you thought they might. But Bobby Clark has come into Liverpool's first team a good few times, namely, and the most impressive performance from a lot of those Liverpool youth players was in that cup final against Chelsea, which they eventually went on to win. So Bobby Clark, then, what kind of a profile of a player he is? Well, he is a number 8. He likes to get forward as well. He likes to get towards the box. He likes to pick up the ball with his back to goal, with his front to goal, wherever he can get it in that final third. Try and turn his man and go past someone and then find a decent pass. He likes to make those third man runs, arrive in the box late and try and score goals as well. But I do think that Leeds are not really needing someone of his sort of caliber, of his profile, really. I think Bobby Clark's going to be an excellent player. Look, I think he's an excellent youth prospect. He's got real bright future. He's got a real potential to be a really good player. I've seen some Liverpool fans describe him as, if he keeps going like this, he could be an Adam Lallana type figure. Now, before anyone's like, oh, Adam Lallana's not great, but Adam Lallana's had a decent career. He's a very strong, like, decent standard Premier League player. Tidy, does what he does well, and any young player would do well to have a career like Adam Lallana has had. Bobby Clark, I just think it's not the right time for Leeds to be taking a player on loan like Bobby Clark. I think if Bobby Clark came to the Championship, I know I've said Bobby Clark a lot, if he came to the Championship, it should probably be for a side where he's going to get in the first team every week. And I think you start to look a little bit lower down the table when you look at that. The reason as well that I don't think this is particularly the best loan move for us is because we already do have Charlie Crew, and I do think that blocks his pathway to the first team. Charlie Crew's 18, Bobby Clark's 19. There's not a massive amount of difference in terms of their development. Charlie Crew's maybe played a little bit less for the first team. Charlie Crew is also a bit of a number 6, more of a defensive midfielder, and yes, we do have quite a few of them, including Ampadu, Gruev. But we've got Rothwell, who's more of in that number 8 mould that can go forward. Charlie Crew, I think, could be given a bit of license to go forward a little bit more. From what I've seen in the pre-season friendly games, I've been impressed with his football intelligence, his distribution of the ball, his passing range, his progressive passing, the way he wants to get the ball forward. And like I said, with his football brain, I mean, there was a clip, if you want to go back to that, I think it was in the Hanover video, it was a clip where he received the ball and he just let the ball roll across his body and it completely sent the Hanover player the other direction. There's a little bit of just like, he's got a good footballing brain there. He really knows how to use his body in certain situations on the pitch. And I want to see Charlie Crew as well, because he's our permanent player, because we've signed him a new contract until 2028 or whatever it is. Or I kind of want to see him be given that pathway to the first team. And I think bringing in someone like Bobby Clark on loan does block that pathway a little bit. I think what I want to see is Charlie Crew be given that role as that player who can come off the bench and try and change things a little bit. Having said that, I think we do still need another central midfielder. And whilst you might say, well, what's to say this new central midfielder isn't blocking that same role? I think it's almost like you've got to put them in different categories of players. So you've got to think about, a lot of the time, teams will have a youth player, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old who's on the bench, and they are that role. They're the youth player who eventually will get more and more game time. I think if another midfielder come in, it doesn't necessarily mean that Charlie Crew won't get any game time. They're a different profile of player. One of them's experience and will get minutes in the Championship, and that might make way for Charlie Crew going in and playing in the FA Cup, in the League Cup. So I genuinely think that whilst Bobby Clark is a really, really good, talented youngster, I also think that Charlie Crew is, and I want to see Charlie Crew given that chance. So it swings and roundabouts a little bit, really. We have been linked. Liverpool have rejected a bid from Salzburg for $6 million for Bobby Clark, so they obviously want to keep hold of him. And if they do let him go out, it will be on a loan. But I think what's best for the player and what's best for both clubs is that Bobby Clark go to somebody a little bit lower down the Championship where he's going to get a lot more minutes. For me, like I said, I think I want to see Charlie Crew come into this side as that kind of youth player and get more and more minutes off the bench. I also hope that Leeds go back in for Dejan Ljubicic. When we talked about him in that video, I wasn't fully aware of almost like the personal situation that he was in, Ljubicic. So if you want to go and check that out, we talk about his statistics and what kind of profile of player he is. But by his own admission, apparently, Ljubicic had been played in the wrong position all last season. He'd been played as a number 6, as a defensive midfielder, when really his talents lie in that number 8 role. Strong player, getting forward, getting towards the box, getting on the end of things, and also creating chances as well. So I think Dejan Ljubicic is a player that we should probably go back in for. He's a good profile of player. He's not going to cost us a massive amount of money, so the outlay won't be too big, and then we can spend that Somerville money elsewhere. Somerville, though, apparently, it's now said 20 to 25 million pounds. So keep an eye out on that one, because that might be up in the air as to which way that goes in terms of how much money we get for him. Because I think a lot of people were like, okay, well, 25 million, I'll take that, rising to 34 million with add-ons. But if it's only going to be 20 million, it does sting a little bit more. But hopefully we come out in a few days and that's all cleared up. Today Leeds play against Valencia in a pre-season friendly, and therefore tomorrow I will be watching it back, picking out the highlights, analysing the game, and then I'll put that on the channel on Sunday at 12 o'clock. So look out for that one as well. I know people have been enjoying those videos because it gets, while sometimes you watch a pre-season friendly or any game of football, to be honest, you kind of just sit back and just watch it, don't you? You don't really think too much into player positions and things like that. That's why I pause it and I go back and have a look and go, okay, why was this like this? Why was this like this? And it can give us a few hints to the way that we might actually play towards the start of the season. Certainly, for example, at the moment, I believe that we're going to press a lot higher than we have been. And you look at the positions of Ampadu and Gruev in some of those pre-season friendlies, they're right up in what you would potentially call the number 10 role, so that everybody else can push on even further. So it looks like we're going to be more dominant, we're going to be more pressing this season. So we'll see if that carries on and see if that trend continues in that Valencia game. So hit the notification bell so you don't miss that, and that'll be out on the channel tomorrow, hopefully. So other than that, though, this is my opinion on Bobby Clark, the potential loan move. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, because some people might have another opinion. Some people might have seen him a lot more and go, do you know what, we should really try and get him on loan. And other people like me might be like, okay, well, let's not cut out Charlie Crew's route to the first team. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.